What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. I feel like I haven't sat down and talked to y'all in a minute, just because I've been doing so much traveling, but we are back with a really personal video, kind of continuation to my last tattoo vlog, but I am excited to get into some updates and take y'all along with me on my second tattoo. So some updates before we just kind of jump right into the video. This is probably going to be posted after I do my podcast. So I'm very excited for that video to come out. I shot it a couple weeks ago. So big shout out to Yesenia for allowing me to kind of just share my journey and my testimony on my platform. So if you guys want to check it out, I'm definitely going to drop it in the description box below. But really wanted to address that because that's going to tie into some of the stuff that I'm talking about today. And really just want to talk more about my spiritual journey and how my tattoo kind of ties into all of that. Just to give you guys a Spark Notes version of what I was talking about in the podcast, I came back to my faith last year, and this was something that I haven't really publicly shared before this podcast because I really wanted to take time and understand what I was getting into, in the sense of I grew up Christian, I grew up in a Pentecostal household, but not really having a relationship with Christ myself. So really wanted to discover that for myself and be in a place, in a space where I was able to be confident in who I was and kind of, announce that to my platform and integrate that in my everyday life. And coming back to my faith, there was a lot of ups and downs that I had to deal with, a lot of, misconceptions, unpacking everything I learned as a kid, and, really just finding Christ for myself. So it's been a lot. I'm not going to hold you, but just the amount of fulfillment that I feel in my life and joy is just undescribable. And basically this journey has just changed my life 180. I'm not the same person that I was 6 months ago, 3 months ago, let alone a year ago. So I am just so grateful for this, and this has really just made me who I am today. Again, if that's anything you take out of this, just that it's changed my life so much that I can't hide it anymore, in the sense, because this is who I am. And on this journey, the main thing I really want to just break is a lot of misconceptions on Christianity. When I grew up, I felt like I had to fit in a certain box, and you had to be X, Y, and Z, and you couldn't do your hair crazy, you had to wear certain things and to be deemed a Christian. And I think on this journey I learned that none of that matters. It's technically a form of legalism, but it really doesn't matter. If you truly just come as you are and you seek Christ for yourself, he will just change your life in so many unexplainable ways that it's undescribable. People that knew me in the past and know me now, that have stayed on this journey with me, has really seen an impact that I can't even explain. It's wild. But I'm just so grateful for it because I just have such a purpose and such a fulfillment that I didn't have anywhere else in my life. With my modeling career, with my influencing career, content creation, all of that, there was a point in my life where none of that really fulfilled me. And kind of navigating now into who I want to become as a content creator, as a model, as an influencer, as all these things that I used to be, it just doesn't define me anymore, which is amazing because I felt all those elements made who I was. And if I didn't do these things, or if I didn't accomplish the goals that I set for myself, then it was I'm nobody. So just the fact that I am fulfilled through Christ and he fulfills me is it's indescribable. I don't know how to put it into like words, but I want to be as raw and open as possible. So just know that has been my journey this past year, and it will continue to be my journey, and this is part of my life now. So I want to share it with you guys and take you guys along with me on this journey, to see where I'm gonna be and where all this is gonna take me. So this tattoo ties into all of this because it is the second stage of my journey of life. When I got my first tattoo, it represented so much because it was a mark in my life of being independent. It was my first year moving out. I accomplished all these things, and I finally felt like I was becoming the person that I wanted to be, and at the time it was, I love that tattoo, and that tattoo for me represents the first chapter of my journey. I remember describing my first tattoo as kind of like a rebirth or a baptism in a way, and it's crazy how I said that a year ago, and then actually getting baptized and actually coming to Christ and developing a relationship with him. It all just tied in when I didn't even realize it. And now this one, literally a year later, because I'm getting this tattoo. Well, I've actually got it. So I'm filming this after I got it. But we're in the month of October right now. So I got my first tattoo last October, which for me signified a year of me moving out, because I moved out the October before, October 2021. So October 2022 is when I got my first tattoo, and now October 2023 is when I'm getting my second. So it just means a lot in the sense of getting it in the month of October, but also this tattoo represents the second stage of my life. So this tattoo that I'm getting for me represents kind of forming into the person that now I'm becoming. So the first tattoo is an eagle spreading its wings, kind of becoming independent, becoming into this person. And now the second tattoo is going to be a tree with bare leaves with watercolor stemming out of it. And I think that's so significant and beautiful, because it's now transitioning over into you're now bearing the fruits of your labor, and you're now becoming this person. You flew off and you're becoming it, and now you are it in a sense, or stepping into that person. I don't know, it just resonated with me, honestly, because I love watercolor tattoos. I mean, you guys know, just because I'm such a creative person. And the tree for me just signifies life. And in the sense of like the watercolors are the leaves, so it's like me as a creator, like that's who I am, and I'm getting on the bottom, trust in his process. Now this is something really significant for me personally, because as y'all know, and anybody who knew me in the past, I always used to say, trust the process. That was my quote. I lived by that quote. That was like, I low-key was gonna get it tattooed. Like, I was like, it should have just been like right here, trust the process, because I always used to say that. And it was a quote that somebody said to me that really resonated with me, because it was just like, at the time I was like, yeah, like trusting the process, because everything is always gonna work out in the end, no matter what happens. If you continue to trust the process, you're gonna get through it. And for me, it just like stuck in my head. And I said it so much that people were just like, oh, that's her catchphrase. Like that's Mel. So even in my videos, you guys know my outros, I always would say trust the process. But as I started coming into my faith, I really started to question the phrase, like, trust the process. I was like, okay, like, trust in what process? Like, what are we trusting in, And so I really was challenged with that. And even like that ideology in my head, because it was so engraved in me. So I didn't want to lose it, because I still believed in trusting the process. But now coming to Christ, I trust in his process. So trusting in Christ's process is so much better than just doing your own thing, because like the end goal is going to be so much better. You might not necessarily know it right now in this moment, but trusting in his process just gives you so much more fruits than doing it on your own. So that's where that whole quote originated from. And so I feel like for me, it's like remembering like the old me, but also transitioning into this new version of myself. So I'm no longer trusting in my own process, I'm trusting in his process. And I thought that was so beautiful because it's a very unique quote that represents me. Now, I know some people who are watching this video who are Christian or not Christian are probably asking the question like, oh, if you're Christian, why are you getting a tattoo? You shouldn't get one if you are. And I really just wanted to address some of the misconceptions that a lot of people have, and really kind of just debunk a lot of the ideology that a lot of conventional Christians have. And again, I just want to say this is my personal opinion, and everybody has their personal opinion on this. This is just how I feel about it and how I interpret the Bible. So I want to read this is basically the one Bible verse that everyone likes to bring up when they talk about tattoos, right? It's in Leviticus 19:28. So it says, and this is the New Living Translation I'm reading off of. So it says, do not cut your bodies for the dead, and do not mark your skin with tattoos. I am the Lord. Now, if you just read it at first, you're like, oh yeah, no tattoos. Clipped, done. It says it there. But if you really understand kind of more context of the verse, and kind of like the time period that they were in, a lot of people in that age would do tattoos to honor like a dead relative, or to worship idolatry, or to even mark themselves as part of a community. So a lot of these people would actually worship their tattoos and look at their tattoos as even a godlike figure in some situations. So when the Lord was speaking to Moses about this specific commandment, I believe he was talking about worshiping and idolatry. For me, I believe that it's the intention behind why you're getting the tattoo, right? So if you're getting a tattoo to fill a void or mask pain, I don't think that's the most healthy way of getting a tattoo. Or even if you're worshiping your tattoo, like that's a form of idolatry. However, if you're getting a tattoo that has very significant value to what you're going through, or you want to express yourself creatively, I don't see anything wrong with that. And especially for me, my tattoos are very strategically planned. My tattoos say a story of the things that I've been through. And my tattoos take months to plan. Like, I don't just go in a whim and do it in like a month. No, like I started planning my second tattoo like in May or June, and I just got it now in October. And my first tattoo, I wanted to get it for years, but didn't start actively planning it until like 2021. And again, I think I spent about 5 or 6 months planning it, and I spent a month I spent time researching a tattoo artist for my first one. And then I spent about a month going back and forth with the tattoo artist to make sure it was like absolutely perfect how I wanted it before I got it tatted on me. So I say all that to say, I don't think it's a sin to get a tattoo. I just think you have to be intentional about the purpose behind it. And I would definitely recommend doing your own research on it, reading the Bible for yourself. It's Leviticus 19:28. I would honestly recommend reading the whole chapter just to get more context, and pray about it, and he will give you discernment on whether it's the right decision or not. So I really want to hold it on just like prayer and asking God for discernment. A lot of these, I feel like this is like a gray area, especially in a lot of churches, Christianity in general. Like everyone has their own different opinion on it. But overall, God is the final word. So developing a relationship with him, he'll reveal to you what you can and can't do, and what triggers one person might not trigger another. So again, just having an open mind and being really in tune with the Lord and what path he wants you to go down. Now we're gonna get to the fun part of the tattoo. I vlogged the whole process, so I'm really excited for you guys to see the journey of getting the tattoo. So yeah, roll the film.